Hello and welcome! Today, let's get into a retrospective of the hit game Sonic Mania.
Released in August of 2017 was the long-awaited sequel to Sonic 3 and the classic era games. No, we don't care about you. You don't exist. Sonic Mania was a team project that brought along new faces in the form of Christian Whitehead, Pagoda West Games, and Headcanon, who all have backgrounds in the Sonic fandom, which makes this even more cool. Mania was built from the ground up using Christian's retro engine. Made for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC, the game brought back life into the Sonic community after Sonic Lost World in 2013 and the huge failure of the Sonic Boom franchise, which I'm happy about. Because do we want more of this? Hitting great reviews around the board with 86s at Metacritic, 8.7s at IGN and more, this was the best rated Sonic game in years. Unlike a certain group of games, this game actually recreated the classic Sonic gameplay almost perfectly. The rolling, momentum, jumping, and physics felt pretty much one-to-one with the originals, just with way better hardware. As well as bringing back the moves like the Insta-Shield from Sonic 3 and the Super Peel-Out from CD as unlockables, we actually have a brand new move. Well, it was planned for Sonic 3, but was scrapped. We have the Drop Dash. The Drop Dash is such a peak ability to add to the classic Sonic moveset. So, what is the Drop Dash? Well, you know that Spin Dash ability that everyone loves that made the gameplay flow super well? Well, now you can do that again, in the air. Press and hold the jump button again after jumping and you will charge up a drop dash, which is basically a spin dash that happens instantly upon hitting the ground. This allows for so much more flow, speed, and skill ceilings when using the move properly.
And most importantly, it's just hella fun.
A quick rundown of the story is that a weird anomaly in the Phantom Ruby has appeared which Eggman takes. Also, there are these dudes called the Hard-Boiled Heavies. You have to collect the Chaos Emeralds, stop Eggman, and save Little Planet, which has once again been taken over by Eggman. You have to destroy the Doctor and the Heavies. Pretty simple.
Starting off the levels is the famous Green Hill, because in this era of Sonic games, Green Hill was everything. Green Hill was our life. Green Hill was Green Hill. Because Sega loved nostalgia baiting us.
Green Hill in this game is a perfect example of what Mania does to make the returning themes feel unique. Act 1 is close to the original, but Act 2 takes on different music, visual aesthetics, and adds new gimmicks and level design. Green Hill is very basic, because it's Green Hill, but still very good. After Green Hill, we move on to another returning stage, which is the Chemical Plant from Sonic 2. And it's here that you can see there are level transitions into each zone, which just makes the continuity better and just adds to the charm. Chemical Plant in this game is somehow even faster than Sonic 2 and blends both aspects of speed and platforming amazingly. Act 2 actually uses the chemicals as gimmicks rather than just as water to drown in. You have these syringes that make the goo bouncy. Dark blue is pain, normal blue is bouncy, and green is really bouncy. There are also these sticky things that you can grab on and launch off, as well as these DNA things that take you upwards.
The third stage is Studiopolis, or Studiopolis? Or Studiopolis? What is it called? Please comment down below. I'm actually really interested to know what everyone else calls it. I just always call it like Studiopolis. Studiopolis? Oh wait. Even I don't know what I call it.
Anyway, Studiopolis is one of my favorite zones in the entire franchise, so let's get into it. Studiopolis is the first original stage, and wow, holy hell, this is amazing. This is probably the most popular zone from Mania, and for good reason. The visual design takes inspiration from Hollywood and movie studios. Duh. The actual gameplay design of the stage is also so good. The pathways are very fun and cool, and all the gimmicks are great, like this laser truck or this rotating camera film. Act 2 is more inside the studio and adds your daily dose of gambling, because Sega loves gambling in Sonic games apparently. The fourth zone is yet another returning area in Flying Battery Zone. For what was a pretty mid stage in the original iteration is now a really fun stage. Flying Battery is full of alternate pathways, routes, fun gimmicks like these cylinder things and the ability to grab onto the propellers to fling off of them or just fly above them. Act 1 is very fast paced and very fun. And Act 2, while still being fun, also has annoying wind gimmicks and death pits. But it's okay. Gliding down the flying battery zone, we enter the second original stage, which is Press Garden. Press Garden is inspired by press machines, printers, and factories, and yeah, it's pretty damn cool. The stage is full of great platforming sections, speedy sections, and blends everything well together. There are also these goo robots, which were scrapped from Sonic 1, so that's cool. Act 2 puts on a fresh coat of paint in this beautiful cherry blossom forest with icy gimmicks this time around. While sometimes being a pain because of the confusing level design, for me at least, the aesthetic is just so good. At the end of Press Garden, we find Eggman and he sends us into the past and transports us to Stardust Speedway, a fan favorite stage from Sonic CD. Act 1 takes on the form of the past variant from that game, but where CD had very confusing and weird level design, here it's toned down much more and is actually easy to understand. This is very fun and all the gimmicks are really cool, with some of them taking inspiration from Marble Garden in Sonic 3. Act 2 incorporates the time travel of CD and transports us to the future variant. This is one of my favorites just because of the sheer speed, crazy and full-on aesthetic, and banging music. It is pretty short though, being close to 1 minute only if you know what you're doing. This is because the boss fight is quite long, but more on that later.
Teleporting back, we are sent to Hydrocity Zone. Sure. The only water level in this game, Hydrocity Zone still stacks up because of it being very fast and full of these cool and unique sections, such as this boating part, or these bubble sections. No, I do not care that the 8-bit games did it first, okay?
Blasting out of the depths, we enter Mirage Saloon Zone, which is probably the weakest zone in this game, not because it's bad, no, I love it, but because it is underutilized. Act 1 takes place on the tornado and haha, Knuckles! Anyway, this is one of those auto-scrolling flying sections, which is still better than the Sky Chase, but like, the end puts you on a moving train for a bit, so like, why not more of that rather than this? And Act 2 is one of my favorite stages because of its fun design, nice aesthetic, and music, as well as its Wild West style gimmicks. But it's just too short, which is why I think this zone is the weakest. Shooting from one of the giant pistols, we are sent to Oil Ocean Zone, which is way better than the original, like, damn. These developers really knew what the hell they were doing. Oil Ocean still has some of the waiting sections like Sonic 2, but some of these routes allow you to skip them entirely, making this my favorite stage to speedrun. Also because it was the only stage I got a good ranking on, but yeah, Oil Ocean is fun. Act 2 borrows the Sandopolis ghost gimmick and copies that stage's homework a little too closely. They just swap out the ghost with smoke and call it a day. This just interrupts the flow a bit, but not as bad as Sandopolis. Crash landing into a pit of lava on the submarine, we enter Lava Reef Zone. Lava Reef, like its original counterpart, is more on the slower platformy side, but I still love this zone so much. The atmosphere and platform mesh together so well, and Mania's drop dash just makes it so much better. Act 2 follows the same design as Sonic and Knuckles, but here I don't mind it. Except this one section, like holy, I was about to crash the fuck out when getting gameplay. Entering Little Planet, we get Metallic Madness, which has my favorite music track, like it's just so damn groovy. The level still has a bunch of annoying enemies that have invincible areas, but it's not hardly as bad as in CD. The level design is still very fun here, and Act 2's mini Sonic gimmick as well as this foreground to background gimmick make it even better. The last stage is Titanic Monarch, and what I think is probably the best final zone in the 2D games, as it doesn't sacrifice speed and fun for difficulty. The stage does up the difficulty, as any final stage should do, but it does it in a way that is still great to play through. Also, Act 2 has 4 different areas that you teleport to, and you can tackle them in any order, which just adds to the replayability.
So yeah, overall, every single stage in this game is peak, and are probably the best designed stages in all of the classics so far. The only thing that holds this game back in terms of levels is that most of the stages are returning, and there are barely any original stages.
Sonic Sprite in this game is a mix of pretty much all before, and it chooses a brighter blue that pops out way more, and overall the animations are just very high quality, fun and nice to look at. To show that you are moving very fast, this game has also added a full speed animation that just makes the experience even better, as it actually looks like the little guy is speeding rather than just jogging along. The visual presentation of the whole game is top here. And when adding the music, oh my god, it's just perfect.
You see that? Peak transition into music, right? Right? Oh.
Anyway, the music is performed by T. Lopes and he hits hard. Pause. T. Lopes is just so talented and wow, every song is so fun, groovy and memorable.
Sorry, I don't know music theory. Just listen to it.
The bosses in this installment take a lot from 3K, such as having a boss for both Act 1 and Act 2. Green Hill Act 1 has this ball and chain where one of the balls is harmful and switches every 2 to 5 seconds or so. Then it breaks and tries to slam you. Alright. Act 2 has the Death Egg Robot. Yeah, the final boss from Sonic 2 is in the first zone and it chases you, throwing bombs and trying to skewer you. Yup, very good boss. Chemical Plant Act 1 has a robot covered in goo that tries to slam you. It's fine. Act 2 has Dr. Eggman's Mean Bean Machine? Well, that's pretty cool, but...
Sure. It's also pretty boring.
Studiopolis Act 1 is the first boss where we have the hard-boiled heavies, and it's really cool. While running, you have to dodge red missiles and hit the blue ones back up the robots above. It is a cool spectacle moment, and actually has some decent challenge, so yeah. Very nice. Act 2 is Eggman in a weather machine, controlling a TV which sends different weather events at you. These include lightning, extreme heat, and high wind. It's very unique, and I like it. Flying Battery Act 1 has this mid-boss in a trash compactor with a thing that sends enemies at you. I do not like this boss, like at all. But, can Act 2 redeem Act 1? Well, it's certainly more involved. This time, Eggman is in a robot spider that sends laser balls at you, and you have to bump him into spikes on the walls. I also have a fat skill issue here, so... Press Gardening Tail is a boring boss where you have to wait to hit these boxes, so that it hurts itself and lets you hit it. Or... you can just cheese it with invincibility frames. Act 2 has the second hard-boiled heavy, and it's so annoying. This ninja dude leaps around, freezing you and yeeting ninja stars at you that explode. It's not bad, I just suck. Stardust Speedway Act 1 is a big bug that changes form and layouts to electrocute you. Again, pretty cool, but it's just fine. And we all know that Sonic CD Stardust Speedway had the race with Metal Sonic. Well, what's in Act 2 of Sonic Mania? Metal Sonic! Here we have a race with him again, but this time he has multiple phases, such as this one where he sends Silver Sonics at you. At the last phase, Eggman passes the Phantom Ruby to Metal, and he transforms into this big monster thingy reminiscent of Knuckles Chaotix. Hydrocity Act 1 has a reverse boss from Sonic 3, where you instead take control of Eggman's machine to try and suck him up and cut him in the propeller. It's really cool actually, using the machine that Eggman used in 3 to give him a taste of his own medicine. Act 2 takes place in the water, and you have to maneuver around obstacles to eventually make Eggman hit himself with bombs. Then we fight him in this phase, which is literally just from 3. Mirage Saloon Act 1 has this annoying steak caterpillar thing. Act 2 brings back these dudes from the dead. Cool. Oil Ocean Act 1 is this worker robot who chops wrenches at you and fiddles with the pipes. Sure. Act 2 has Eggman in this octopus machine that takes lots of inspiration from Sonic 2's Oil Ocean boss in its attacks. Lava Reef Act 1 is this weird drill thing that you have to wait for it to drill into the lava and hurt itself. It's very mid. But Act 2 is another heavy, this time riding on a motorbug and using this place as a skate park to do its tricks and stuff. Cool, but I suck at it. Act 2 is another final boss with the Sonic 1 final boss. Like, what are we doing, bro? Is every final boss as normal bosses in this game? The nostalgia baiting goes hard, bro. But Act 2 is where Eggman starts sending out his babies for you to murder. That's pretty cool as you fight small versions of the Marble Zone and Emerald Hill bosses, as well as Amy. Because Fuck you, Amy. But here, when Eggman falls out, why can't he just stamp on Sonic?
Like, look, he's so small. It's so easy.
Titanic Monarch has this eye thing with multiple phases, which is fine. And Act 2 is the final boss of the game, which is definitely the most involved out of the previous classic style games. Eggman's main phase has him bouncing around in a ball, sending missiles at you and electrocuting you with these limbs. Then after each cycle he grabs you and sends you to fight against one of the heavies in different boss fights, which are all pretty cool. Except this one. I don't understand the cups and which one I'm supposed to dodge. And yeah, that's the final boss. But hey, if you collected all the Chaos Emeralds, you get transported to the Egg Reverie Zone, where you have to fly around as Super Sonic, collecting rings to sustain yourself, and you have to ram into both Eggman and the Hippie King, who are also fighting each other. It's not that bad, but the music track hits hard. Sonic Mania has the same way of entering the special stages and in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is to find special giant rings hidden around the stages. These are put in really good spots that are actually fun to go around and find, as well as not being too difficult to locate. When you enter these special stages, the first thing you will notice is that we have fully original 3D special stages, where the goal is to collect the blue spheres to get faster, collect rings to extend your time limit, and the main goal, chase after the robot holding the Chaos Emerald in a race style format. Out of every single special stage in the series, I do believe these are the best. They are fun, fast paced, and have a good amount of challenge and replayability. They also have bright and colourful environments that offer a nice visual aesthetic to look at while running around. There are also these bonus stages when you jump into the various signposts like the third game also. These take the form of the Blue Sphere stages from 3K and allow you to collect coins, which are collectible items that unlock different rewards, such as the aforementioned Insta Shield and Super P-Louts.
Before we move on, let's take a look at the DLC released for the game. Sonic Mania Plus.
Released almost a year later was Sonic Mania Plus, an enhanced version of the game that came with additional features and content. This was also the way to own the title physically, as the original was only released on digital storefronts. The Plus version came with a 4-player competition mode, a way to smash your friends who don't know how to play, a couple of improvements, and the Encore mode. Encore mode takes place after Sonic Forces. And it's pretty much just the base game, but with different visual aesthetics for the zones and harder difficulty, especially in the special stages. Those things are way harder. Also, you get to play Angel Island Zone for one act, which is pretty cool. There are also changes to gameplay in Encore mode, as well as 2 brand new characters. Mighty and Ray returned from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog in 1993. Or Mighty from Knuckles Chaotix, but too bad. These characters have unique movesets as well. Mighty has a slam attack that can destroy enemies, as well as certain terrain elements. He also gets a hit of invincibility on spikes. Ray can glide, and while being much harder to control, making you move up and down to move, it is very rewarding once you get good. Encore mode changes your lives and makes it so that you have 1 life for each character, and once you die, that character also dies, and you cannot beat them anymore until you recollect them. This feature allows you to have 2 characters on the stage simultaneously that you can change between with the hit of a button, which is a fresh idea, unless you look at Knuckles Chaotix, but I don't know how that game works exactly.
Damn, I've mentioned this stupid game so many times this video.
The DLC also adds a new bonus stage where you have to play pinball to get a claw machine to collect one of the characters to play as in Encore mode, as well as shields and rings. While overall not bringing too much to the game, it is still very nice to have just for the characters alone, which are also playable in the normal mode as well.
Also, the DLC was only released for like $5 to $10, so it's very reasonable. Another thing about Mania was that in 2024, there was actually a mobile port released. And guess what it was for? Netflix! Like, why?
Yeah, if you have a Netflix subscription, you can play Sonic Mania Plus on mobile, and it's just a worse version of the game with yucky menus, bad touch controls, and it's just inferior. But still nice that Mania reached mobile devices somewhat. Also, there was this beautifully animated intro cutscene by Tyson Hess with music performed by Hyper Potions. It's really flipping good. There was also this short series called Mania Adventures, which is very charming.
Before I give my overall rating and opinions on this game, let's have someone else talk about their opinions and their ratings. Let's hand it over to our special feature, the outdated Gen Z.
So Sonic Mania is a good game. No wait, a great game. No wait, an amazing game. No wait, a fantastic... It's my favorite game in the series. So, what's my reasoning behind this controversial opinion? Why isn't my favorite Sonic game a 3D one like Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Unleashed, or hell, at the very least, Sonic Frontiers? Well, for one, my first game I ever owned was a 2D game. Sure, that's probably the standard for most video game talkers these days. So here's my second reason. I just flat out suck at video games. I can still play 3D games, of course, but having to worry about an extra access always just really screws me up. I don't know, man. Well, those are the only reasons I can explain why Sonic Mania is my favorite and why other 2D games are on my more favorite side of gaming, except for when I first came across Sonic Mania, I thought it was just a remastered classic Sonic collection. I was 12 years old on a digital store, I don't know what to tell you, but after a week of Nintendo eShop gift card money just sitting there on my family Switch, I actually checked the screenshots properly, and although it did have recognizable zones, it looked like a sick new experience for me. And just last Christmas, I got a physical copy of Sonic Mania Plus with the art book, so hell yeah, I actually own this masterpiece now. Enough of my villain backstory though. Sonic Mania, although very similar gameplay-wise to previous classic Sonic games, Sonic Mania adds lots of upgrades that helps it stand out from the rest. Like, for example, Sonic has a new move, the Drop Dash, and it's clearly good because people can't live without it for future classic Sonic games and remasters. But I can't lie, I can't live without it either. It may make the spin dash useless in some cases, but I don't think so. Drop dashes are more made to keep your speed flowing than starting up your speed. Of course there's more, but I promise to be brief. I can ramble a little too long when it comes to my favorite games. The zones in Sonic Mania are absolutely incredible, man. Although the majority are reused from the previous classic Sonic games, man, these just feel like they can stand on their own, just like the fully original zones in this game, especially with the second acts of each reused zone. The bosses are banger too, man. I just can't get enough of these. Even Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine makes a return. Sure, it's way easier now, but it's still Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. And holy hell, I can't avoid it any longer. The music in this game is just perfect. T. Lopes, of course, takes the show, and holy, he went insane with this soundtrack. These are some of my favorite songs of all times, but you can't forget about who composed the trailer themes and the opening cutscene of Sonic Mania. Absolutely incredible tracks from Hyper Potions. And of course, shout out to this name I don't feel like pronouncing because I don't want to be rude. But man, you sure did make one hell of a Trap Tower remix in Sonic Mania Plus, man. Bad transition, but the pixel art in this game looking this good as well is absolutely insane. Everything is just so perfect in this game. Sure, this is a broad rant of the game, but just know that I love Sonic Mania. Now, Sonic Superstars.
So yeah, thanks very much for that, Mr. Outdated Gen Z. Everyone go check out his channel, he makes some amazing stuff, and he has so many videos, which are all pretty much peak. Now, for my final opinion on Sonic Mania, I think that Sonic Mania is the best classic Sonic / 2D Sonic game ever to be released. Mania has the best gameplay, the best music in my opinion. It also has the best level design, and I just love it so much. The only thing that kind of brings it down for me is that, yeah, the levels. There needed to be way more original zones. But even still, they're all so good. Out of 10, Sonic Mania gets a 9.5, which is insanely high. So yeah, Sonic Mania, it's one of the best game experiences you can have in Sonic, honestly. Thanks for watching, and again, special thanks to the Outdated Gen Z for hopping on this video. I love you, man. Now, have a great day, and I will see you eventually. Fuck, my schedule sucks.